Let's start this with a prayer. Dear Father, I thank you for this day and this opportunity to be used as a vessel to let your people know that you are available, able, and ready in the name of Yeshua from Nazareth. Let's cut this bread. Yesterday I did Learning God 101. Let's do Learn God 102. I'm just going to read yesterday real quick, but the main section is 73, Psalms 8 through 16. It's probably the contemporary English version, Just to recap, God is truly good to Israel, especially to everyone with a pure heart. But I almost stumbled and fell because it made me jealous to see proud and evil people and to watch them prosper. They never have to suffer. They stay healthy and they don't have troubles like everyone else. Their pride is like a necklace and they commit sin more often than they dress themselves. Their eyes poke out with fat and their minds are flooded with foolish things. Today, this is where we are today. They sneer and say evil things, and because of their pride, they make violent threats. They dare to speak against God and to order others around. God will bring his people back, and they will drink the water he so freely gives. Only evil people would say God Most High cannot know everything, yet all goes well for them, and they live in peace. What good did it do me to keep my thoughts pure and refuse to do wrong? I am sick all day, and I am punished each morning. If I had said evil things, I would not have been loyal to your people. It was hard for me to understand all of this. It's too early for this. Listen, most amazing thing about God is how he drops these gems. So yesterday when you're ASAP, like you need to get this ASAP Rocky in you. When he was talking about their pride is like a necklace and they commit sin more often than they dress themselves. How many times you dress yourself a day? If it's summer, I could just dress myself 3 times a day. But I know it takes a lot for me to dress myself. So if God is saying, God can see how people just put the sin on. And it's not just, disbelief, but that's the major one, disbelief in Yeshua, but worrying, having a mindset that, you can do it, it's all on you, or being judgmental. And a lot of people get this twisted because you need to judge a situation when it comes to you. If someone is out smoking meth, I'm going to judge that that's not right for me because I've seen the repercussions of meth base. Y'all don't get that though. It's a plea to switch it up. And when you learn God and when you seek him, there's some things that he's like, man, that's foul. And you may have thought that let's talk about me. I thought I was right every single time. Every single time. 8, they sneer and say evil things, and because of their pride, they make violent threats. Now, I'm going to talk about me, but I can flip this and talk about the world too and how it sets itself up as, everything. So I can sit here and say, if I was the world, we're in this position because of the people who sit home and collect unemployment, right? But I'm not saying anything about the people that sit in Washington and collect the check and take breaks during pandemics and still get holiday pay and all this other stuff and don't have to take universal health care or make decisions not based on us but them. I know. Okay. Me. They sneer and say evil things, and because of my pride, I made violent threats. Me being a woman who... Listen. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I get jiggy with it when it comes to these words. Or saying to somebody, you hurt me. I hope you die. I hope somebody robs you. I hope whatever. Because that's what my heart is like, or that's what it was like when I was in that state of being sick with it within myself. And not being able to see that God was doing a work in me. I didn't need to look at anybody else, nor did I need to take out my anger, my rage, my regrets, my whatever on somebody else and start wishing evil on them. But like I said, the world does it too. Puts itself in this position where it's able to just whatever. They dare to speak against God and to order others around. I get it. I remember having nothing. And something to me, it's not material stuff, but it's like common sense and wisdom and integrity and discernment. And I never could have gotten any of this if it wasn't for God being like, look, I need you to get these proverbs in you real quick and know that this is what I'm trying to give you so you don't walk in foolishness. You don't walk in arrogance. You don't walk in your own, understanding of things. But this is the problem. Do we really want to be held accountable? Because I'll tell you like this. At one point in my life, nobody could come and tell me anything about anything. I knew everything. Again, the same way that the world does it. The world is saying they know what's better for you when it comes to climate control, right? But they spray chemtrails. They know what's better for you when it comes to food, but they push GMOs. They know what's better for you when it comes to peace. Yes, they start wars for profit. They know what's better for you when they could strip away your title and give it to somebody else, because I'm no longer a woman. I'm probably just a female with whatever to accommodate somebody else that's in the wrong. And we're supposed to believe it. No. I remember one time being like, oh, Jesus, what? Don't nobody talk to me about him. I don't want to hear it. I'm going through X, Y, and Z. Where he at? Hanging up on a cross on 4th of Virginia? Because that was my mindset. 10 says, God will bring his people back and they will drink the water he so freely gives. I don't know if you know what it's like to drink out of a bubbler. You got to push that button for the water to move freely. To give you some hydration, quench your thirst. But you got to hold it there. God pours out this living water that flows, that keeps you alive, that keeps you invigorated, that doesn't keep you in a dry spot. But you got to learn this about him. And the only way you can learn anything about God is by spending time with him. Listen, I read what I want to read, right? And the way that they started this for me, pushing this King James version, being in a Catholic church with all these idols, and, I wasn't for it. So after I had my accident, God was like, do your nails and listen to the Bible. So I would listen to the Message Bible, right? It was more relatable. People might be like, this doesn't, it's not as close to the King James, and the King James is the closest thing to the Dead Sea Scrolls. Listen, if you think that God is limited to 66 books, you're stupid. Jesus said we got to live out of every word that comes out the mouth of God. God don't stop talking. Learn that. He doesn't stop talking. And it's not like, oh, here goes this Bible. This is what I would say in this situation. It gives you an understanding of how he would respond. But when you cultivate this relationship, you can hear him. I ain't got nobody sitting in this room right now, but I can hear my daughters being like, I'm hungry. I've been sleeping all night. I'm tired. And whatever. I can hear it. It's the same premise. It's not difficult. It's not something that, you need a PhD to understand. Only evil people would say God Most High cannot know everything. And that's the excuse that we want to give ourselves. Oh, God ain't here. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. That's the excuse I gave myself. I'm going to do whatever. God don't care about me. The people in the world. And I'm talking about government, right? We are gods. We're superpowers. We're a super nation. We're broke, though. Like, broke. And super divided. And super racist. And super prejudiced. Oh, it's a lot of supers. That don't look nothing like God. Nothing. Yet all goes well for them and they live in peace. What good did it do me to keep my thoughts pure and refuse to do wrong? It's very simple for you to look at somebody else, for me to look at somebody else when I am in a broken state, when I am not walking with God. So I see things from a righteous point of view. And to be so like why them? Why them? Why do people in the world get to go through life and doing whatever they need to do and it's fine? Everything works out for them, but they're the same ones that are hollering, ain't no God, I'm a God. Nothing ever went right for me. I was just delusional, thinking that what and how I was living was like beneficial to me. And it wasn't. Because inside I was shot. I had no living water in me. I had no life. It was all. I've ever seen dust come out? Literally. And at one point, for me, it was like, and dude, I remember quitting God. I remember quitting God because I started going to church in like 2006. And then I started to see how shady people were and it didn't look no different from the world. So I didn't want no parts. So I'm literally sitting in my attic smoking like, look, God, I'm gonna come holler at you later. I can't do this. He's like, Tanya, don't do that. Don't. And I'm like, God, I can't. To try to be like that and you still living like this, like, I don't even want that. I don't want to be around it. I'll struggle by myself. And block them out and keep going. But mad at everybody else because my life isn't a certain way because it didn't flow the way I needed it to flow. No, I didn't have God doing what he needed to do, and that was the problem. 14, I'm sick all day and I am punished each morning. That depression is real. That depression is real when you are sitting here constantly beating yourself up and then trying to measure yourself against something that has no merit. What in the world? What in the world can you get that would calm your anxiety? And I ain't talking about pills. I ain't talking about, something to ease the pain. But where could you go? You can't shop for peace anywhere. You cannot shop for integrity anywhere. Either you got it in you or you don't. And that's just it. And if you don't, it just is a testimony to the brokenness inside of you because there's a lot of times that, I done had no integrity. I didn't care. I had to rob my grandma of child support checks with my sister because my mom was in prison. What integrity you think I got? You think I won't rob her? We did. We did. We robbed her. Having that type of mindset and then being like, man, it's always so bad. I'm never going to get anywhere. Like, just being in this state of, I hate it here. Because I don't have no peace when I wake up. I ain't got no peace when I go to sleep. Like, I'm struggling. Like, it's a thing. And then being in a world that looks at you and it's like, oh, you got this type of education. You got this type of work history. It doesn't matter. Go on and do what you're going to do. Like, you can live paycheck to paycheck. It's fine. I know, it's too much. 15, if I had said evil things, I would not have been loyal to your people. 16, it was hard for me to understand all of this. If every time I had a concern about something or I had a doubt, I'm not running and I'm not telling anybody else because can't nobody else do nothing for me. But when I'm running to God, like, God, I don't understand this. They talking like thou, thee, or I can't even understand the word. How can I understand you? And him being like, find something where it's easy for you to understand and I could take you to the next level once you know how to read. Because if you're still trying to sound things out, you're never going to get me. This is how you learn God, not by sitting here and looking at everybody else and complaining about what they have and what they don't do. And even though they fix their mouth to run against God, like, let that be. But getting you right, like, I had to get me right. It took me 40 years. damn near. What? I didn't believe in him until I was 10. I knew about God, but I didn't believe about him. 10 to 20, I didn't care. 20 to 30, you know, okay, I'm getting a little bit more familiar with God. 30 to 40, very deep depression. And well, you know what? I'm not, maybe like 5 years, right? So 38 years, right? Depressed. I think I came out of the vagina depressed. Like, oh, here. I hate it already. I knew. I just knew it was going to be rough. But knowing how amazing God is, knowing that this system is shot, knowing that he has a plan and a purpose for you to bring you to an expected end. And ultimately, it's not just here setting you up where you can be financially set, but still shot inside, but having an understanding that he is everything. He is everything. And being loyal to him is the most important thing ever, because he's been loyal to you. He's been loyal to me. I should have been dead. I should have been in prison. Man, I should have just, my mind should have been gone. I probably should be out here like smoking crack or doing heroin, because I didn't know how to heal myself from all of the trauma that I've been through. But it wasn't me. It was him. And once you learn that, like, the world is going to do the world, but your job is to seek God and learn about him so he could really disclose all of you. Like, here you go. When I had you in mind, this is what it was. I know you went through a lot, but you built tough. So don't ever think that because you went through something that, you know, it disqualifies you from really having this relationship with him, because that's not the case. God loves you with an everlasting love. God loved me with an everlasting love. He got my mind to a spot where it's like, oh, this ain't right. Let me not be like this. Listen, you have to learn God for you, because we're not really going to look at ourselves and be like, damn, we're cheaters. Damn, we're quitters. We are damned. We're damned when we walk away from him. We get all these things that attack us. And it was hard for me to understand, because I believed lies for so long. Man, so long. Like, this is the world, and, you know, if you have a good family and a good education, you can get a good job and you can get married and you can have this type of life and you don't have to worry about anything. It ain't even about that, because when you really think about it, all the knowledge in the world, where'd it come from? We came from Neanderthals, right? So one day we in a cave just, let me make a picture on the wall. And now we're building robots? Like, that's a whole different story. People are going to do what they're going to do. God is going to be who he is. And you got to decide where you want to be in the midst of things. You want to rock with him, you want to depend on him, or you want to trust you and everything that you've been through because it's gotten you thus far. I get it. 38 years? Dang. That's a long time. Which qualifies me to give my expert testimony on what it's like to sit here and look at somebody else and be like, how come they're living this way? And how come, you know, it's so rough for me, and I hate waking up every day, and I hate going to sleep, and, you know, looking at people being like, fixing their mouth to say, who is God? You know, who is Yeshua? Because a lot of people don't think that Jesus is who he says he is, or who God said he is. I'm not going to argue with you. I can't tell you something that you ain't never going to see. If you can't see it, me telling you isn't going to help you see it. You got to want to see it. There has to be something inside you that is like, okay, I'm tired of being blind. And let me tell you, the truth hurts. But God is so loving that he's like, this is what you needed. You needed the truth. Holla at him.